What's up, everyone? Welcome to another stream. Good evening. How are you guys? So let's take a look again. What can we expect for tomorrow? Today it was a bit boring, the day, especially after what happened yesterday. It was a bit expected. So we had a little bit of a move to the upside on the dollar until it reached that level. Now we have a little bit of a retracement. In terms of news, as we know, it's not the busiest week, so basically in terms of US news, there's nothing going on. We had yesterday services PMI, and then you're going to have unemployment claims on Thursday. Nothing much. We do have, or we had the interest rate decision in Australia, basically remaining all the same and still data dependent in here to see what's going to happen. You're going to have unemployment in New Zealand. And that's it. It's going to be quiet. We have unemployment in Canada as well, but that's on Friday. In here. So after the big sell-off that happened yesterday, today we have a recovery, and let's take a look at what to expect in here for tomorrow. Personally, today there was not really much going on in terms of the setters that I usually look for. I was indeed looking for a potential sell on some CAD pairs, especially dollar CAD, but price didn't really retrace until I wanted to, or I wanted to. Therefore, it's moving down. One actually didn't manage to catch it. I was waiting for the retracement as well. It was on the Euro CAD. It was a move. It was a setup that I talked about on the 28th of July, and it's working just amazingly. So yes, dollar index, right? So we mentioned yesterday that price reacted perfectly from this demand zone. It was a really good level to see price having some reaction from here. In my opinion, as I mentioned also, this is basically within a compression zone, which means that I'm still expecting eventually dollar index to go and take this low somewhere in here, somewhere below this low before potentially starting to move upwards. But I do recognize that this demand zone is quite good. It was fresh. This one never reacted from it. Therefore, I could see some reaction from here, and price is reacting, right? So, and basically now we are within this range, and that's basically the range that we were looking for yesterday as well, is for price to move within here. Initially, I was potentially looking for price to retest a little bit to downside before making that move. It didn't really happen, right? So I mentioned that there was maybe something in here that price could have held. Price kind of almost reacted from it, but it's just starting to move to the upside straight away from there, which means that we still have this level left behind in here. But now price already reacted from the initial level that I wanted to see in here. Basically, that was the initial range in here. Yes, price eventually can go a little bit more to the upside, but this is the middle zone in here that can hold price to downside and eventually resume the bearish momentum that we have since last week in here. So we'll see. I do need to look at a little bit more of PI again. From this highs, price can actually still hold this level and push to downside in there, and it may even range a little bit from here. Price can maybe react a little bit and then go. Now, I do expect this will eventually to be taken, right? Price usually doesn't really just turn with a single low in here, especially after such a big move. For example, on the 4-hour time frame, yeah, I may have a little bit of a demand zone in there. It looks like, oh, what is this? It looks like almost a single low, even though, yes, we do have this demand zone, as I mentioned before, but I would like it to see being faked out in there, to be honest. But let's see how price may react from here. So today we had a little bit of a continuation, then we did have a little bit of that reaction from here, and maybe from here price now is going to just resume to move down, at least maybe feel this price in here, and eventually can get there. If by any chance we go from here, we by any chance take these highs and then start moving lower, I think that's going to give a bit more confidence to look for longs in here. If you don't really break any structure in here, I think eventually price can just carry on and break the downside and potentially use this level as a continuation in here. So that's a little bit on the dollar index. There's nothing really new in here. I'm not really expecting, because we don't really have any big news, any massive move in here unless some catalyst comes out or some commentary comes out, maybe from a Fed member or something like that. Aside from that, I may be expecting just similar behavior like today, market slowing down a little bit after such a big momentum that we had on Friday and Monday morning in here. The indices are also recovering a little bit, so we did mention that price reacted from good levels, S&P, Nasdaq, and so on, and today it's more of a little bit of this retracement. They are getting a little bit more closer to that range in there, and that's, I believe, where we may be looking for in here. So today with the opening, it was actually a good reaction from this level. It's not exactly my type of setup, but that was a good reaction in here. Price just moved to the upside. Actually on Nasdaq, the reaction was a bit more deep into the demand zone. S&P looks like it missed the level. Nasdaq actually reacted from it. So there you go, breaks the highs first, fakes out in here, typical move with the opening, and price now just moves to the upside, and eventually I wanted to see going slightly more into that zone. So again, S&P at this point just let it respectively bit into this range, and it may go all the way to fill that range. Is that the opening on Monday? Actually, for the week, price is about to turn bullish. Yeah, price is about to turn bullish in here. Week. Alright, so that one is already from Friday. So there you go. Basically, the big sell-off that we had yesterday, it's already recovered completely, and now price is around this level in here. Similar scenario on Nasdaq. So price also recovered from there. So now it's a bit in the middle between this structure in there. So for me personally, there's not really any valid opportunities to look for. Yes, we did react from that demand zone today with the opening, and that price now continue to move a bit more to the upside. I'm going to be interested to see when price gets to this level. So that's one of the zones in there. I think price can eventually fake out. I was already looking for that to happen in here. Price never really got there. So this high basically just pausing there. So that's going to be one of the first levels that I'll be looking forward to on Nasdaq. Maybe there's a potential reaction from here, and that potentially just continues to go higher. We'll see. Depends on the approach as well, what's going to happen in there. But at that level, I do like it. Just fake out slightly these highs in here into that zone in here. So basically just close this gap as well, and maybe there's even something in there as well to look for. So that can also be an initial zone where price can react. Now, depending on the approach, again at this point it's quite creating a bit of momentum, no big retracements. Price just continues to go. So we'll see what's going to happen somewhere in there, and that's basically the next level that we are looking for in here. Dow also correcting a little bit. So basically it went all the way into that zone. Yep, basically reacting a bit from these lows. Again, it could carry on moving a bit more to the downside. Yeah, but it's not a bad level into this level in here after taking all this. So we'll see as well Dow how it's going to react from one of these levels. Again, it's not exactly a level that I'm interested to look for at this point. So we'll see. Actually, Dow, I didn't really look at Dow, but Dow actually provided a much better opportunity based on what I usually look for, because it was much closer to the lows. This was actually a miss for me. I was actually just looking more at S&P and Nasdaq. What I mean by that is that S&P and Nasdaq, they were much higher. Can you compare where the low is? Basically, we have that level. Can you see where these lows are? And this level in here, price event, you can still go there, for example. It was much farther away. Same thing with the S&P. But Dow actually reacted much closer. So this was a different type of setup in here. This was a nice move. He had already broken the highs as well. Right. There were definitely some highs being broken in here. We had definitely these levels to fake out. Yeah, this could have been a much better entry. Yeah, especially after the break of that one as well. Yep, that was a miss. Yeah. Fortunately, yep, I didn't see this. I didn't see this one. Fortunately. Yeah, this risk reward in here would be much better. Oh well. Yeah, it is what it is. We move on. Somewhere in there, that's basically the next structure a little bit where you can look for some kind of reaction in here. What's up, Bongani? How are you, man? Yeah, maybe somewhere in there. So that's yeah, that was a really good one. That was yeah, that was a miss. Miss for me. Dow also, not Dow, DAX. DAX also recovering, so basically you can trade within this range and can have definitely still go retest some of this structure in here as well. So we'll see what's going to happen around this level. So it reacted from the upper edge of that level, eventually can carry on moving a bit more to the downside. So we are literally in the middle after making this big move to the downside. So yep, let's see. I would like to see some range and then eventually continue to move to the downside. And we have also reacting nicely from this demand zone, recovering a little bit from those big sell-off that we had yesterday. Yeah, so that's for the indices. Again, carry on moving a little bit more to the upside. Bigger picture, I do think that the twisted walls are going to be retested one time. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good as well. Did you trade yesterday with the crazy day in the market? How are you positioning for gold and silver at this point? Yeah, then Euro index. So that's one that we also are paying attention in here. So good reaction. So that's what we're looking for price to react within this range at this point. That will be one of the first levels. As soon as you start breaking these highs, that will be the target. And price is reacting really nicely from the lower edge of this level into that supply level in there. So that's a nice move where price is reacting right now. And yeah, we'll see what's going to happen from here. So basically price filled all this price, reacted from here. Personally, bigger picture, I still like the idea that this Euro index could carry on moving a bit more to the downside. Again, I'm still not the biggest fan of where these walls are reacting from in here. I do think that price eventually could go somewhere into this level, but for now, this is what we have. So price could react in here, can carry on moving a bit more to the downside. Just something to bear in mind or to pay attention to in here on the Euro index. And that maybe could lead a little bit more of the Euro pairs moving lower. And then the end index, that was another one. So we talked about that high in here on the left side was reacting from an interesting level. So if we cut this level into this one, and personally, I do think that price can still play around within this level in here. So we reacted one of the first levels, basically this level in here where price moved upwards. Now we start moving lower. Now you are in here again. So let's see how price may react from this structure in there. If it's going to push again to the upside, or we are going to actually break slightly below this level, and that starts making this level in here much more interesting eventually for a future sell. Yeah, something like that could happen, or even fake out the highs one more time, as I mentioned. But if you do break below this structure in here, I think that makes it even more interesting in here. Oh, congrats, man. Nice trade. Nice trade then. Good job. Yeah, so I'm curious to see how this yen index is going to react from here, which can lead a little bit to move to the upside and the individual yen pairs to move to the downside, or if price just keeps moving lower from here. Yeah, we'll see. At this point, it's pausing a little bit. Again, the upper move, I don't really think it's finished yet, but for now it could have a little bit of retracement from such a big momentum that we had in these last few weeks in here. All right, so let's take a look at the individual currency pairs at this point. So we have euro dollar, again similar to the dollar index. It reacted basically from the opening in here, so that's a good level that price is reacting from. It can still react one more time and push to the upside. I think this will be the level that euro dollar could hold, continue to be bullish. If price starts breaking below this level, then you start opening the door to go further down and either into there or somewhere in there. So that's something to bear in mind in here on the euro dollar. I do like the idea that price would actually still respect this level eventually if it wants to go higher. Again, as I mentioned, to the upside, we did manage to fake out this important structure. That was one of the levels that we have been looking for. Good reaction. Again, there's of course still all this space in here that eventually euro dollar can go towards to. But for now, this is a really good level where we are. So good reaction so far. So basically one of the first targets to look for in here, it would have been in there. Basically the test of this demand zone. And now from here, we'll see what's going to happen. We do have also this supply level, which is similar to dollar index that has that demand zone. We also have this supply level on the euro dollar in here. So yeah, we'll see if you do break it, maybe if you break above this level in here. Again, we do have still that level at the bottom in here that price can definitely react from. And is there any chance that price can even fake out these walls into here and still respect something in there? Not sure. And then of course, then you jump straight away into this level, which is basically where we had the NFP price moving all the way there. So that will be the next level. If you start breaking below this level, that will be one of the targets to pay attention to in here on the euro dollar for any shorts in there. So that's something to bear in mind. So we'll see what's going to happen in here tomorrow with the opening as well. Finally, pound dollar decided to move a bit more to the downside. It looked like these lows were not managing to hold price to the upside. Price started getting rejected, and all of a sudden we know that reacting from the upper edge of this level, it's good, but in order to hold, price eventually needs to start breaking highs, and it was not really managing to do so. So we start being a bit more bearish in here. Now, price reacted a little bit from this level, still not the biggest fan at this point where price is reacting from. I think eventually could go a little bit more to downside, even react from here. But then all of a sudden we have almost a triple low or almost 4 lows in a row in there, which that can start being quite attractive to actually price to go somewhere a bit more to the downside. So we could have definitely a little bit more of a continuation to the downside in here, maybe hold a little bit, try to attract more buyers into this level, and then eventually can fake out this level somewhere into there. And then you can have a proper correction that this pound dollar hasn't really reacted or had a proper correction yet. So today's already reacting from here, so we'll see. But I think we can carry on going a little bit more to the downside. Is this level good enough? Yeah, not really sure. Not really sure if that's really good or not. Yeah, we'll see. Again, it's just something to keep in mind. I'm mostly a reversal trader, as you guys know, so I'm not really feel confident just yet to actually look for the reversal in here on the pound dollar. It can even go slightly higher, can retest this level in here, and it can continue to move down. So that's just something to bear in mind. Something that you can see in here is that we have definitely a strong compression on the way down. Like, so almost every single supply now has been taken. Actually, there's maybe still this fresh level in there. Aside from that, almost everything has been taken, which means that eventually when price does turn to the upside, it can pass through all this quite quickly in here. So that's just something to bear in mind in here, but I don't really think that this is yet the low in here. So we'll see what's going to happen in there. Euro pound, that's one that I'm starting to pay attention to as well. So we made all this move to the upside, and I'm curious to see a little bit how price may react from above these highs first and foremost. So I'm looking to see if price fake outs a little bit and moves to the downside, so we can still have some reaction from here. Even if it just retest this low in here, I think price could pause a little bit in here, and then eventually I'm looking for price to go even above that high and getting a bit more closer to this structure in there. So that's eventually the future level on the euro pound that I'm looking for. But for now, I think price can still use something in here. So can fake out that high. Price at this point is still respecting this high, and somewhere in here, I think it would be a reasonable level for price to go and react from. If you have a bit of this structure, then you still have that one in there as well. So that will be the setup to look for on the euro pound. So let it go up a little bit more. Nice compression in here. Start breaking a bit of this structure, just respect this demand zone. So eventually could have some PA in here that could lead to a short. Again, we predicted exactly what happened around here. So that was a great example of a zone 1, zone 2 type of a move or the reversal. Paying attention to the clues. So we predicted exactly that on the higher time frame as well. It was great. Again, how fast price was about to move to the upside. That's the only thing that we cannot really control. But apparently with all this nonsense that's going on in the market, it was quite quick. And now it's about time to start looking for some retracements in here on the euro pound. in my opinion. So just a little bit of a retracement, maybe some reaction, maybe just retest this level. We can start looking a bit more for sales, and then eventually from there can actually have a bigger reversal. But we are still far away from that level, so we'll see. At this point, something else that you also know is that Euro Pound does tend to range a little bit. This is the opposite, but eventually we are going to go back into that type of structure as well. Like we're going to start coming back into this ranging market in here, going up but going down at the same time. So that's something to be aware of in here on the Euro Pound. Then it takes us into Aussie dollar, which again, really good level. So we fake out those lows, so we were looking for that to happen. Really nice fake out, reacted a bit from this level. I even have another level underneath that. Today with interest rate, there was basically no movement whatsoever on the Aussie. It was almost a non-event comparing with what we had recently in the market, and price is challenging these highs, which can definitely take them. We'll see what's going to happen after that, right? If price going to actually take all of these levels and starting to get a bit more closer to this next structure in here. So that will be something to bear in mind in here. On the Aussie, it was a good continuation as well. So at this point, it's not exactly at the level that I'll be interested in trading. So yeah, I'll wait and see as well what's going to happen in here on the Aussie dollar. We have New Zealand and we have unemployment in a couple of like in 4 hours. We have New Zealand unemployment data coming out. So again, New Zealand has been respecting this level in here. We are also within this range. It also managed to fake out that low on the left side. So eventually could carry on moving a little bit more to the downside. And in my opinion, it could get closer to this level in here. But perhaps it could go upwards first before moving down. So again, at this point, I don't really have a bias just yet on New Zealand. I would like it to go slightly lower, but it could definitely... Yep, it could definitely go also a bit more to the upside in there. The other Aussie pairs, they started to move to downside. Like we have Aussie dollar now actually moving to the upside, and we have this moving down. Like we talk about Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie at this point. So it fake out these highs in here, reacted from something in there. Nothing really special in my opinion. So it means that perhaps we can even go up again. But at this point, it's moving to the downside, and we are basically coming back into this structure in here. Right? So basically correcting all that move that we had on Monday and Friday, and they are basically coming back into this level as we speak. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in here. But it continued to move a bit more to the downside, and eventually going to have some retracements, and perhaps we can continue to move lower. On the daily time frame, that's basically a little bit of the zones that we have. It's a bit more in there, weekly as well. So that's what we'll be looking for personally. Unless price comes all the way back to here, and then that's a different story, and then you can look for other type of trades in there. Yeah, price is actually now reacting from this demand zone in here. Not a bad level, to be honest. This will never reacted from it. So yeah, if there's a level in here to expect a little bit of a reaction, that can be one of them, and then can go slightly lower in there. Yeah. It's just not yet at a good level. And they have also Pound Aussie moving to the downside. So basically also fake out that high, reacted from a bit more of this level in here. Again, can still go higher in the bigger picture, but now we may have how this to fill. So we'll see. It's a really good level, good reaction, quite aggressive. Again, basically impossible to trade, to catch the highs in there. And now, yep, we just continue to break. So break these lows in here. There's maybe a continuation setup possible in here. So price can definitely retest this level and react from there. I think it's still fresh, this level in here. So that potentially be a trend continuation setup that we could aim for. Price already broke this structure, and is looking eventually to get into this previous level support resistance in here, and eventually into that level. So yes, we can have a little bit of a move in here with some PI and go down into that level as well in there. So that's a little bit on the Pound Aussie in here. So a bit more of a continuation Looking at the Aussie yen, so Aussie yen, like the other yen pairs, we are correcting a little bit. Again, the reactions on the left side, it were good in general in most of the yen pairs, and basically we are just retracing back into this structure in here, and that's basically where we're going to be looking for a potential short from here, or if price actually starts holding that level. But first and foremost, that's the key level in here that you need to be paying attention to on the Aussie yen. But again, it's in the middle. I'm not really interested at this point in trading this level. Dollar yen, similar stuff. If it gets closer to the lows, that's a different story. Good reaction from here. We can even again go somewhere in there. I already mentioned about that. So I wanted to get closer to the lows to potentially look for a long. So let's see. Again, bear in mind that you are definitely in this bearish trend. So any longs from here, especially after taking this low, wait for confirmations. Don't just start jumping into longs, as price can easily just go all the way and actually take this low, and maybe from there, that's the moment that you're actually going to start looking more for a retracement in there. So just bear that in mind. Now from this level, yes, you may still have something in here that price can use and react from. So there you go. You may have a little bit of this structure. That's what you have in here on the dollar yen. Euro yen quite similar as well. So again, it's within the same structure. We do have this double top in there. I was looking to see if price would fake out that double top and pushing a bit more to the downside. This point didn't really do that. Yeah, again, the reaction from the lows is really good. So even if it wants to actually hold this level, and it can, definitely can, something to bear in mind at this point. Right, so again, we have been bearish on the yen pairs for a long period of time. Now it's maybe not the moment to carry on being so bearish. It's a moment to actually start trying to see if the buyers actually wants to start being active around these levels in here, and actually try to challenge price to go higher. So let's see what's going to happen around here. Again, I want it close to the extremes at this point. So that's euro yen. Pound yen, again, same story. Good reaction from this level. Again, can even fake out slightly the zone and get into here and go higher, or even you can even take out these walls, right? But for now, good reaction from this extreme in here. And yeah, maybe just reacting a bit from this structure can be enough for a continuation. We'll see. Is there anything in here at the lows that price can still use? Gosh. Yeah, maybe. We'll see as well. Kind of have this level, it's reacted from here, so you can definitely still come back a bit more into this structure in there. And then the CAD pairs, like that's the one that I was looking for. So beautiful move in here on dollar CAD yesterday. Reacted from that spike, from that high, sorry. Pick out all this structure in here, and that was the move. So this morning we did manage to break below that low, so that's something that I was looking for, and price did it. But I was looking for price to retest closer to this level. It just paused in here. I can since then basically just move to the downside. As I described before, we initially had this beautiful reaction from that previous level support resistance in here in this demand zone, but that level now was taken and everything in here was also taken, which means that this level was weak, which means that price was easily moving now through all this compression. Now it may have a little bit of a new level support resistance in here. That's basically where price is reacting from, but a lot of this is compressed on the dollar CAD, which can actually lead into a massive sell opportunity and carry on moving to the downside and eventually even target this level in here. Now personally, I wish price can still go eventually towards this level. So that's still my best ideal scenario. Price at this point can also just react from here, retrace a bit more to the downside before anything else. But now maybe can create a little bit of structure in here, manipulating with this high until we get closer to this level in here and push lower. I don't like still the highs in there, so that will be something as well to pay attention. Now we have a second engulf to the downside, so that's usually quite good in terms of looking for sells in here. That's actually nice to see. We have one engulf, price basically went up. We have a second break. Now price could actually just fake out something in there, react from something and push lower. right? So that will be the idea on the dollar card. So that's something to bear in mind in here, and just to pay attention. Again, good reaction from this support resistance, same way that it reacted really nicely from this previous level as well in there. So that's something in there. Then Euro card, that's the one, right? That's the one that we actually mentioned a couple of weeks ago, right? So it was this level in here, like you mentioned, initial price was respecting within this high in there, and we saw that that was potentially a good level to, actually it was within this level, and price was holding, reacted from that level initially that we looked for on the time frame, but one of the levels that was still fresh, it was definitely in here. That's exactly what we mentioned. Above this size, fake out everything, and from somewhere from there, it will be a great zone to look for a great trade or a big trade. And that's exactly what's going on, right? That's usually one of my favorite levels to look for trades is in here. This level on the higher time frame never really reacts from this level, which means that there's a lot of orders being left behind in there. And when price eventually comes back, that's usually a great level to look for a trade. In terms of targets, like so initially we looked for price just retesting this level in here, which is basically where price is reacting right now. So first target basically can almost be achieved in here, and then eventually you can aim for a bit more down in here, and then eventually are looking for price to go somewhere in there, right? So that's eventually what you can be playing around this level. Now, of course, price will not just move in a straight line, at least I hope not. I hope price can still retrace. I still like the highs, to be honest. So that level in here is still a beautiful level to eventually look for a trade. Price is compressing all the way down in here, which means that eventually when you do turn, perhaps price can make a big retrace back into these levels in there. And we have also this left shoulder, bearing that in mind, and then can have a new attempt to look for a big sell in there. Hopefully that happens. At this point, price is just reacting exactly from this demand zone with this support resistance. So we'll see, but eventually can carry on moving to downside. But yeah, my purpose scenario, yes, we do have this structure in here as well. Price maybe can react from. You can see already how price reacted from this level, which was that previous high in here on the left. Yes, at this point, potential next level is somewhere in here. Ideally, for price to retrace back to this level and then just move like this. That will be the ideal in here on Euro card. So we'll see. And then pound card, we mentioned several times as well that in our opinion, there was no need to break the highs, right? So these highs in here, there was no need to break them. And now finally price is gaining momentum to the downside. Like this is basically the move away from zone 2. We had zone 1, basically price creating all this in terms of zone 2. We didn't really create the momentum at this point. Price still retested, and now we finally have this separation in here. Like we now finally create a separation between this full zone 2 in here into now a zone 3 with this big momentum that we had today to the downside in there. So next we are looking for price to get actually closer to this level, somewhere in here into this next level of structure, if not even there. And honestly, the space on this pound card is quite big. Now we do have all this structure, so that's definitely something to bear in mind, first and foremost, right? We also do have this trend line in there, so we should finding a little bit of some support around one of these two levels in here. So that's just something to bear in mind. Yeah, so let's just try to see how this pound card is going to react from here. But this is a move that definitely for the last couple of weeks we have been looking for this big reversal. So everything played out quite nicely in here. Dollar franc Swiss, right? So that also reacted nicely from this low of basically from this demand, and not exactly the low yet. There's a potential to continue to go slightly lower in there. 1 second. Okay. Yes, we are also within this range, right? So similar to the euro dollar, similar to the dollar index, similar to many of these dollar pairs. Price is still just within the same range in here. There's more chances to look for longs in there at the lows, definitely. And there's even the chance to even go there as well and look for another sell as a continuation. That's actually a little bit of where I was looking for in here, but price never really retested that zone. Price just paused in here. So that's basically what you have on dollar franc Swiss. So I'm going to still be looking around this level and somewhere in there for opportunities on dollar franc Swiss. So that's going to be what I'll be looking for. And then gold, finally. There you go. So we are within this range on gold. These lows have been taken as well, basically respected in there. Price respected this level in there. So we'll see. It's in the middle at this point. Eventually, I would like to see gold actually going a bit more to the downside. So that's something that we can aim for. Yeah, basically one of these two levels. That's where I'll be more looking for in here. Intraday, yeah, maybe we do have that supply. Maybe there's even something else in here at this demand zone. But personally, I'll be looking more for price to take all this, get closer a bit more into this level or into there, and at the highs, still something in there. But from that, at this point on gold, I'll let it trade and create some ranges in here, up and down. So, not sure if you're still there, Bangani. What kind of trade did you took? Maybe you shorted it. Yeah, there's maybe a short opportunity in here. Price indeed broke this lows, kind of retest that level, and it went there. It was maybe that intraday setup to look for. Yeah, it was not bad. Yeah, not exactly on my radar at this point. And then you can even look at silver as well. So silver made all that move to the downside. That was something that we looked for. So that was a trade. Unfortunately, I actually ignored it when it happened. I wanted to see that happening in there. In here I was distracted, didn't notice it. And there was definitely that more room to the downside, and price is somewhere in here. And in my opinion, it still wants to take these lows. So that's eventually the next level on silver that I'll be looking for, is for silver to get a bit more closer to this level. And from here you can have a bit more of a dip of some retracement. If price just has a small reaction from here and continues, then you are going to be looking for price to go actually further and further down. But for now, take this low and get closer to this next structure. That would be the ideal on silver. Anything else I'm not going to be really looking for. Maybe price can just respect this level, try to push it. It's creating all this level of support in there, which can eventually be faked out as well. So yeah, personally, it's just in there. And then oil also. So we managed to take this low on the left side. We took the high as well. So, but now it's just ranging. I would like to see it going a little bit more to downside as well before aiming to go higher. So what I would like to see now is a bit maybe of compression here on oil before we eventually turn again. Right, so let it now compress, go a little bit up, take the lows, go up again, kind of range a little bit like this until eventually can turn. From where? That's a good question mark. You have this level, but maybe price could actually go a bit deeper into something in here or even in there. So that will be my ideal in here. So let's just carry on tracking what perhaps can happen in here. On oil, maybe Brent can provide a bit more of a good idea where maybe it can react from. Yeah, it could eventually go all the way to fake out this low as well and get into this level. So that will be my ideal scenario in here. I think that's where we are going to have the best opportunity to look for longs. It's maybe when actually price takes this low. So let it compress, let the buyers and the sellers maybe fight in here. On intraday, if you are looking for something more on a lower time frame, for sure there are opportunities in here. You can maybe short from one side to the other, but more in the bigger picture. That's what we have been looking for. That's how you manage to predict and catch kind of some of these trades in here from the top. I think that's going to be a bit more towards this level in there. So I'm still going to be patient as well in here on oil. So basically that's what we have, right? So we managed to predict really nicely the reversals on the all the way back on the pound, eventually on the CAD pairs as well, on the indices. We now recognize that price is reacting from good levels on the dollar index, reacting from good levels on the lows. Euro dollar is reacting from the okay level at the highs after faking out those highs. So We may be pausing a little bit. We may be slowing down a little bit as well after 2-3 days with a lot of volatility and price and the market maybe now readjusting to what may happen next, right? We have the Fed that's maybe now pricing in a 50% basis cut in September. That's some news to the market. We had this big sell-off that happened yesterday in the morning. So until maybe we can carry on getting into a new trend, price may need to find some balance to do that. So we may have a little bit of a ranging market. Again, there's no big news in the US as well this week that can actually affect market. That's going to be only next week for the CPI, which means that we may have a little bit more of PA going on in here. Cat pairs, that's something that maybe we can pay attention to. Cat pairs may be quite interesting. And then more intraday setups at this point. I think a little bit more intraday setups. I think that's mostly what you can look at. Indices, let it correct a little bit more to the upside before maybe looking for new sales. All right, so that's how we're going to approach it. I'm not going to be looking for big home runs at this point, just a little bit more of a conservative approach, more in and out at this point until I actually see some potential bigger reversals in the market. With that being said, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you. Yeah, cookie, what? I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.